Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty.
And good evening. I'm Free Spirit, also known as Brianna. How's everybody doing tonight? This is round two. I hope everybody's having a fantabulous night.
I'm going to let you go ahead and start off while I
I'm
get
just
these
trying to
links
get my
out.
headphones plugged in here. They're for some. Okay, where the heck is my? There we go. Now I should be able to hear you, Drew.
Good, because I don't want to hear my own voice in the background. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I couldn't hear for a minute. Apparently, my headphone jack isn't all cracked up to what it's supposed to be. I will be joining y'all on camera as soon as I'm done eating supper. Now, what all did we take away on those three videos that, and we should probably let the viewers know while I'm, because I don't think you hit all the links, did you?
For the most part, I did. Except for the only place I didn't post at was Patreon and WordPress, but I'll get those after the videos if we do it.
Okay. They we just found out here within the last 2 to 3 minutes, Mr. Arthur, Mr. Louis Arthur, has taken down 2 of his videos from earlier in the day that were pretty provocative and pretty attackful and lack of taste. Which I didn't think was very smart of him, but you know, you're going to make those accusations and those threats only to delete them an hour or two, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours later. Chances are several people have already ripped them already, so it's out there and people are going to be able to find them no matter what. So nothing was really proven there other than you really are just as nutty as what it seems. Now, one of the things that we did miss that we didn't talk about earlier in the part one was that these frequent disappearing acts that Mr. Arthur has played in many other cities, such as Yuma, Scottsdale, Phoenix, and in a couple other places. He's played these disappearing acts in the past, and he said that bad things are going to happen when he comes down off that mountain on Sunday morning. What does that say to you, Drew?
I mean, that just it keeps what I keep iterating. People need to stop allowing their heartstrings to be pulled and listen to what this man's actually saying. This man is nothing more than a provocateur. He's trying to provoke a situation. He's trying to get something to happen. And by his words, when he comes down on that mountain, something's going to happen. And for those that did catch it, he had did another live stream video as we were ending the broadcast, which is why I got such a late start because I went and watched it. And that, basically the people he was already accusing, the people that his people that are following started attacking, come to find out they weren't the ones that did it. But, he took the video down, and I, his process trying to get something to eat, get things resituated for the next stream, didn't get to rip that video, which is okay though, because the other video he took down, I do have. And you seen it? I showed you.
Yep. And it's pretty pretty damning video. I've I've seen I've got to say I've seen a lot of crazy and outlandish stuff there in, through the years. I've seen a lot of people do some wild things, and this was one of those that it really makes you really scratch your head. And in this case, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, makes you almost want to scratch your head and your ass at the same time, and wonder what was he thinking with, where was he thinking. I don't think the thought process was truly engaged. I understand being angry about something or another, but to blow up like that truly does show the unstable nature of the person that we're discussing. And I've been very leery, and all throughout this saga, I've been very cautious as to what to say, how to say it, and all these things, because I knew the type of person that we're actually dealing with, and knew that this was. Sorry, I forgot to take my napkin off. It was not a pretty picture of the type of person that we are going to be dealing with. Drew, you should have told me I had my napkin tucked into my collar yet.
I try not to pay attention much to the hangouts when live video's going.
But it was yeah, it just shows that, hey, I'm human. I am fallible. I make mistakes. I am human. You know, I'm sure that'll go down in one of your blooper segments somewhere.
Oh, I don't do bloopers. Because that would mean I have to go back and edit video and listen to my voice, and that just drives me nuts.
Yeah, but let's we've got to try to find something humorous out of this, if at all possible. And if we can't laugh at ourselves, and scratch our head at our own shortcomings from time to time, then do we really reserve the right to make shortcomings at anybody else? In all seriousness.
Oh no.
So
I do a good job making fun of myself whenever I can.
And I'm sure a lot of them are definitely Kodak or Canon moments.
Oh, I mean, like last night, the thing red line. Then I go and fix it. It's supposed to be thin. and spell thin, Thine, and had to go back and fix it again.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in last night, but that just wasn't happening. But that those things actually do happen. But when you're dealing with so much negativity and uh I I wasn't at first I honestly didn't know. I knew that this was a nasty situation. And I got to give a shout out to one person. They're probably either A, at work at the moment, or on their way home from work at the moment. But person that between you and one other person that um brought this to our attention was Be Rich. And without his heads up posting this, um would we have actually known or been as far into the game as we are?
Right. I mean, because I know he he made a he's the one that I caught the sharing the link because he shared it. Like I said, I got caught the link from that he had shared from Titus
Yep.
Frost.
Yep. And that's where I got it was from you.
So if it wasn't for Be Rich, I wouldn't have caught on to it as fast as I did.
Right. So I mean, we got to give some kudos and shout outs to Be Rich. On throwing the heads up. What do you think about this sort of uh situation? And I'm going to give credit where credit was due. Um, on this, because it made me stop and it made me think. And at first, I was thinking, could this be a possible psyop? Could this be any number of things? And when I sat back and I looked at it, I knew something was just not right. And I don't think many of my judgments along the line on this one have been off. Too
I
far
mean,
anyhow.
even the timing of it. I mean, look what's all being talked about ever since this popped up. Immigration, immigration.
Well, there's not there's so many things that are going on.
Hmm.
And we have talked about this very topic of left hand, right hand, shiny objects, oh look, weather modification, severe weather modification, all these things, then lawsuit, major out of the blue lawsuits, um all these distraction tactics that are happening are it gets to be too much for most people. And I asked a few people. I had to go out and brave Walmart on a Friday. It's generally not on my top 10 most enjoyed things to do on a Friday or a Saturday. I don't recommend anybody doing that unless you want to wait in line and enjoy Walmart Fashion Hour while you're waiting to check out 15 items. But it happens. And I asked several people if, while I was waiting in line, if they had heard about this very situation going on and a couple other things that the independent media is talking about and covering that the mainstream is not. And they're like, what? We didn't even know. And I pointed to, as you alluded to in part one a little while ago, I said, how many times you walk by that board pointing to the missing and exploited board? I said, how many times in a month do you walk by that board and not even pay one iota of attention? That there might actually be somebody from the general region that could be on that board. Maybe somebody from that could be from your high school classes, family, friend, somewhere along the line. Who knows? But I says, how often do you actually pay attention? And they're like, oh, well, we weren't for sure that was actually legit. That was the response I got out of 7 out of the 15 that I asked.
And that is the point. And that's been my worry with this whole scenario unfolding before us, is that there is something legit happening down there. There's something legit when it comes to when we start talking about the trafficking of humans for the sex trade, slavery, organ harvesting of organs, and the list goes on with the drugs and all this stuff. It's a situation comes up and this gets so far out of hand, people are going to start screaming, "Oh, that's all fake news." And we've seen it. We started seeing a few people argue back and forth amongst our communities about this. What they're doing is righteous. It's just, but they don't. They do not listen to what this guy is saying. And the whole problem is, it's going to numb people. That's why I did the video about numbing of society to the facts that this is happening. This ain't something new, and it's not something we can keep overlooking. It's not something we should ever become numb to because it's another human being. But on the same token, we can't allow people to manipulate that, use it for their own agendas. And you have to call them out when they are doing this. You have to show people, hey, this guy's bad news. He's not, he's using all these heartstring moments that he's talking about to pull your strings and pull the wool over your eyes so you don't pay attention to the rhetoric that he slides in, to all the stuff he talks about. Then he comes in on videos and talks about, oh, I'm not a vet. Well, we already all knew that. Or we're not an organization. And he did it again. Took the video down. Saying, VOP is not an organization. It is not. They're not answerable to the government. They're not working with the government. They're not working with the state. But yet they claim it. They claim to be an organization. They're not a verifiable organization, just like they're not a verified church. And that's something you guys need to understand. This guy, and if you guys, all you gotta do is sit there and listen to his videos, listen to what he's saying. Ignore those pulling of the heartstrings. Because what's going to end up happening, this is my fear also, is the good work that people have put in there, this guy's going to ruin. They're going to move those homeless camps up out of there. Or they're going to be, or worse will happen. This guy has become a cancer, and it's not the first time he's done something similar. If you research the man, research before you give this guy anything, before you even go down there. Please do not take your children and your wives down there.
Oh, for God's sakes, don't.
But he keeps telling you to. That's not a place where you want to be. Because, truthfully, and I think the guy that he was ranting about in the last live stream he did that before he took it down, he brought up a good point. He hasn't touched on anything yet. Because if he really messed with something that the cartels were doing or a crime syndicate were doing, they'd be missing. They'd be removed from the face of this earth. They haven't done that yet. They haven't. They've been a nuisance, but they haven't interrupted anything. Other than trying to pit ranchers against ranchers, bringing back point, causing trouble with the native land.
Yeah, and that brings up a whole nother situation in and of itself. The the whole legalities of messing with tribes. Hey Daggers, how you doing? Um shoot. Why won't my I gotta refresh my page again. I got stuck on a loop. Um they it's that, and that was one of my thoughts too, was if truly, if they were messing with the so-called gang members um that were out there, then why has it not been, if they were truly messing with their enterprising, then there would have been serious repercussions for this, and it would have there would have been reports of gunfire and EMS calls out there, left, right, and center, for people down, or other nefarious things. I'm just cutting to the chase, and I'm keeping it real here, folks. Um, you mess with those people's incomes, um, it usually ends up with a body count. You end up in a black bag with a toe tag.
And missing a head.
Um, if you're lucky, that's if you're lucky. If you mess with the wrong cartels or the wrong entities, yeah, you very well could lose your head over the deal. And they might use it to play football with. It's very questionable. But the bottom line is you make provocative statements like what Louis Arthur was saying on those videos, only to just a couple of hours later take them down, all because somebody is calling your bluff, and they've managed to slow your delivery of your hard goods down, and perhaps slow the mail down. I get the anger for the people at Bravo Company. I get that aspect of things. But there's a right way and a wrong way to go about that. And the wording and the verbiage that was used was criminal. There's no way to slice it, dice it. It was criminal. And it I'm not gonna post a link for that video, um, for the simple fact that anybody sharing those links, screenshots, screen shares, um, there could be problems with that. Daggers, we're talking about the ongoing situation out in with VOP Team Alpha company, Team Pulaski out in Tucson, Arizona, and some of their criminal activities that is going on out there. Just to bring you up to speed. Um, that this is now they are making criminal threats at specific people. Um, and they were using the internet to do so. Um, and threatening potentially uh, even postal workers. Um, that in and of itself is a federal case. So who knows what could possibly happen out of that very situation. And I haven't even looked down that rabbit hole because this case, in and of itself, from the very outset, we've said just in private talks, how many rabbit holes could we delve down that is affiliated with this specific case?
Oh yeah.
How many could we potentially go down?
Which it already started to get some people to go down with the CMEX property, and it's just that's not the rabbit holes we need to be going down. We need to stick to the facts. The facts is there's plenty of documented evidence that these things are happening. And the facts are this guy, he's playing on that documented evidence. He's manipulating people for a completely different agenda. And you guys don't have to take my word for it either. Don't. Go listen. Listen to what he says in his videos. And you'll quickly see what is so alarming about this situation. You'll quickly see that when he told, because he did keep that one video up, when he told people that follow him to go to this Facebook page, get this person's information and these people's information that's talking bad about them, and contact their families,
Their employers.
their employers, talking about doxing them. I've got a huge issue when it comes to doxing. And I touched on that last night in the video I did about that idiot professor who created a database of 1,560 ICE agent names and was releasing that information to groups like Antifa.
Yeah, I think he's in the win too.
Mm-hmm. Because what's going to happen to all those people that missed and didn't get a chance to see what he said in the very first video, the one that was titled "Call." I can't remember what was after it, but like I said, I got it saved, so it don't matter. That he's personally going to target these people when he comes down from this little mountain on Sunday. He's going to strap his pack on, target, harass, camp out in front of somebody's door, property. Is this the type of person that should be representing a cause like this? Is this the type of person, if you keep listening to other videos he's done where he talks about government, anti-government rhetoric, talking about you come out here we'll handle our business type talk. You know, there's not, and the worst part is this guy's so transparent. It's right there. Every
Well,
time this guy opens his mouth, he drops something that just is like, hello. It's screaming red flags. Seriously. If you sit there and listen to him, don't allow your heartstrings to be pulled. Don't get caught up. Oh, he's a Christian. He's a preacher. Which, I just told you, not an organized church. And he's admitted it himself in videos. That's the point I'm talking about. People miss that because they're out there doing a good thing. They're out there finding homeless veterans. They're out there searching for children. And you get caught on that. You want to believe in that good, that righteousness, because that is what we all should be. We should be. We're all brothers and sisters. But you can't miss the rhetoric that he adds into it. The things that he is saying that should bring instant red flags. The fact that we don't take money. That's a lie. They take Visa gift cards. I've shown that. They take other forms of gift cards that are monetary in value. The Visa gift card in itself, I can show you cases where people have been charged for giving money, and that's how it's charged. They're giving money to a terrorist organization. There's many cases of it. Then anybody stop the question? I don't know. I've never been on welfare, never had food stamps, but I remember back in the day, some people I know that were. Didn't you have to go to the welfare office to pick that up? That stuff don't come in the mail, does it?
um, yeah,
It does.
yeah.
No, see,
But
I was
first,
what
you have to go to the office and sign up for it.
they'll send that to you through the mail now.
Um,
There,
they made it so much harder. You've got to go fill out the paperwork in the office. Then there's phone interviews and various other things. You got to have uh bank statements for like 90 days and uh proof of everybody that lives in the house, um all this fun stuff. I mean, you got to
well,
prove
here's why I'm asking, because that was one of the things that he threw out there. You know, telling people, well, these vets can't get their vet VA checks. They can't get their food stamps. That's why I was wondering, because I know back in the '90s that you had to go to the welfare office to pick up your food stamps. That's why I was wondering, is it still the same now, or
no,
do they actually mail it?
no, now it comes on a EBT card that is pin secure.
Okay.
Um and it makes it a lot harder for people to sell their benefits. Um and there's talk that they want to redo that snap card so that it has with in the next generation cards that they might actually even roll out biometric cards, so that only those people that are authorized users on the card and have formally put a pen to paper and have checked all those little boxes, um, that then and only then would their fingerprint or thumbprint be recognized, and it would do away with the pin. And the holdup is that not all states are on board with this plan. And I can actually, I'm in support of this, but again, this is another rabbit hole. And
Right.
one of the problems with this whole food stamp claim that he made, you have to have some form of permanent housing to some degree in most states. A homeless group encampment, you have to be able to prove that you have a place to cook your own meals, that you're not sharing meals, all this stuff. You have to be able to prove these things. So I don't know how that works, could even possibly work in a place like Bravo Base. But then again, Arizona, it could be a little fickle.
Right. 'Cause I just wanted to see if we can clarify that up. That's the one thing I had thought about after rewatching it and hearing him say, because like I said, I've never been on welfare, never had to deal with the food stamps or anything like that. But
It's a very sticky gray area. I will caution anybody that does go over to that page and watch his videos. Um, I would definitely, if you have little children, I'm gonna go ahead and say this straight out. If you've got young children around, put your earphones in and listen to it that way. Um, do not just let it play because for a street preacher, dude's got a gutter mouth. I'm just gonna say it. I can get pretty rank on my channel, and I'm not proud of it, but you know, if he's supposed to be all about one thing, and I get that, not that every person on this earth is fallible, um but there's been so many things that he's said one thing, and then 5 minutes later he's saying something else that totally contradicts what he just said. It really raises eyebrows to me.
and actually, that's something I want to touch on real quick. And there's something else I want you guys to pay attention to. Watch how his demeanor will change. He'll go from calmly speaking, mellow, to instant flare up. It's like instant personality switch.
Yeah, I picked that up on his third or fourth video.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up on that very quickly.
Something else I picked up on today, because he was doing it a lot in the last few videos. He'd hit the pause button, especially when he started getting real irate. The stream would, I thought it was glitching, but it wasn't. The stream would go from his irateness to like there was a edit,
Yep.
which was the pause button. Then he'd be back to mild talking. I mean, this is straight out of a psychopath's playbook.
Oh yeah. Among other issues, and again, I have to be very cautious on how I word it, how I say it, because that will play out, I'm sure, if they decide to, uh, if Sunday morning he has a welcoming party waiting for him at the bottom of the hill. Based on those videos that he put out today.
You know, and there's the thing. I know you accuse me a lot of censoring myself. There's a reason I kind of censor myself because I know the power of emotion. I know how it can pull people in. That's why I'm not big on people that use fear and allow that emotion to come in because you can draw people in. We have a responsibility to control our own actions, control how we bring things so we're not manipulating people because that is manipulation when you
Right.
use those tools. And I'm well versed in those tools. And you hear me right. I call them tools because sometimes they are needed, but
Sometimes.
never on a live stream, never in a group of strangers.
And especially a group of well-armed strangers.
Right. That was after I started watching some of the videos, that was some of the things that instantly screamed, this is a cult leader. This dude is drawing followers for another reason. It was an instant red flag to me because I seen it, I heard it in his voice, I recognized it. I know I don't talk about those things on this channel. I hint at them, find other verbiage for them, but I know that type of energy, that type of tone, cadence when I hear it.
Oh yeah, his cadence is right.
It's an
It's
instant.
there.
I mean, it just puts my senses in defense instantly. That's why sometimes I have to actually go back and watch some of the stuff he says a couple times because so I don't miss anything. And I want to point that out before anybody really goes watch his videos. Understand, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up about how he's talking. Listen to the rhetoric and not the heartstrings. He's manipulating people. He's manipulating people in the name of God under Christianity, calling himself an organization. He's playing on the good causes that we all should be doing. We should all be caring about. But if you listen to what he says, it's not his intention. Not even a little bit. He's trying to get something to go off. It's not the first time. If you do your research on this man, you'll see he's been in other places. Most of you are familiar with the Bundy Ranch situation. Yes, he was even there for a brief time before they ran him off. Ask
With
yourself this.
an AR-15, mind you.
Yes. Which, ha, why isn't he in jail for that? Because that is a violation of the law because he does not have a Second Amendment right being a convicted felon.
Um, I've asked that very question
You can
because
the way I know, at least here in the state of Ohio, the way it is worded is you have to go back to court and get your rights reinstated. But if you are convicted of an F1 or an F2 violent crime, you'll never, especially an F1, you'll never get your First Amendment, your Second Amendment right, and you can't vote.
um
That's here in Ohio.
they can't restrict your right to vote if uh once you have been removed from a condition of the courts, which would be probation, parole, prison or jail time. But once you've been discharged from the system, in accordance with the Supreme Court, uh, then
Yeah, Ohio's rules are they don't care what the Supreme Court says because they the Supreme Court's got a rule in thousands and thousands of cases here in Ohio every year for unconstitutional of their new what they call the new law here, where we sentence you to 2 years. When you get out, you're still on probation.
for another 2
Act,
years.
or 5, depending. And if you violate, we'll send you back up to half, or supposed to be 90 days at a time, or half the time. I've talked to, interviewed tons of people about this. I'm getting ready to break this. We're talking about broken systems next week
Yeah, well, yeah, I want to jump in on that one.
because it's insane. That's why I talk about, there's that 1% that make it out of the system, truly make it out, because it's designed to keep them in like cattle
Yep,
because they get paid. It's a multi-billion-dollar operation, the prison system.
$1 trillion. But yeah, you're
And,
right. But the way that it is supposed to be is that then you appeal through the governor's office
mhm.
to get your Second Amendment rights back, your right to vote in federal election and like presidential
Mhm.
and things of that nature. But the Supreme Court many years ago thought that was unconstitutional. So really, the only thing that as long as you are not on a condition of the courts, i.e., bond, probation, parole, work release, i.e., jail, um, or are being housed at a prison, or if you are on house arrest for whatever reason. Hey, Be
Hi,
Rich.
Vera.
I just wanted to give you a big shout out and a thank you for the heads up on this story, by the way, bro. Big shout out and thanks. Give credit where credit is due.
But
Um,
that's the thing. Nobody's going back and actually listening to what this guy really is saying. Everybody's getting caught up in the moment because it's like I said, some of it has to do. It's been in our face a lot this last few weeks with the immigration and all that stuff.
yeah,
And that plea, I mean, that plea was, I mean, it was heartfelt. I mean, because instantly children, and it caught a bunch of people. It caught me too. It's like, why isn't anybody talking about this? That should have been a warning flag right there. Then we had, certain somebody. I'm not going to name his name because right now I don't think he deserves any attention after taking $100,000 on a donation before he recanted. So,
yep, I agree.
this whole thing's just made you want to sit here and stop, research. Once you figured out who this guy was, you found out he was at the Bundy Ranch. Then you started listening to his rhetoric, the things that he was talking about, anti-government, anti-this, posting up, stationing people, the terminologies, the verbiages that he uses, the calling in of certain militias, the way he was treating the press. We don't want you here. The way he treated some people in another video earlier this week. This chick that was there, she was a more of a blogger type journalist. She didn't want to be filmed, and he kept on trying to film her. And then he goes on the rant, and now he's picking up somebody else's terminology, and I will not name that YouTuber,
Yep, good
that
call.
calling people keyboard warriors. Well, you know what? You should be a keyboard warrior before you go out to places like this, before you give money. Do the research. Listen to what the person's saying. Don't just go off the emotion that you're being pulled into. I mean, if you would
Real.
have done the search, if you would have sat there and actually listened to the rhetoric that he was putting in between all the pulling of the heartstrings, you would have seen an instant red flag. You would see that this guy has an agenda that doesn't represent what he's trying to sell you. It's not about the vets. It's not about the children that the coyotes are smuggling through there. It's all about pitting ranchers against ranchers, trying to get the government to do something, and people aren't paying attention to that. And then he tells you, go search the dark web for child pornography, or as in what happened today, go get the information of these people, harass them, find out who their families are, tell their families how big of a POS these guys really are for trying to stop us. I hear my voice in the background.
Not for me today.
And if you guys do your research, those are what he's telling those people to do is all illegal. If something happens to the said person, which we come to find out, well, can't say that now because he took the video down that he went off on, which I didn't have a chance to snag. All about the money, right? And if you watch how much has flowed in, because that's the other part, it's in your face. They've made a lot of money. No, he is not a vet. He's admitted that. But when he first came out, he didn't say that.
He didn't come out and say that until video number
The
3.
the standoff at the tower.
Yep, video 3.
Just like, I'm a preacher. It's my church. Well, come to find out, there's a video still on the page where he says, well, we're not an organized church. We're not, legal church. It's the actual proper word for it.
Yeah, he's not any he's never been never went to any kind of ordinary that's good to hear, B. Never went to any even online. Sorry, I gotta change batteries in my headset. They decided up and die on me.
You must heard my
Never
voice in the background.
took any ordination, formal or otherwise, online or in class, formal teaching, period. So that I've been able to find anyhow. But
But
that
that's the other
doesn't
problem with him.
mean
What's his real
that
name?
maybe somewhere while he was doing time that is a possibility that could have happened, because we do know that he's done a couple of stretches in the pen, so that is a possibility, but I've not found any viable proof that he has taken any formal um, uh, seminary or theology classes at all, period.
Because I know and have friends that are part of organizations that do things like that do the relief stuff. And actually, it's a very known name, Samaritan's Purse. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because that's a rabbit hole. And you don't see these people out there. You don't see them throwing their support here. There's a lot of groups you don't see. I'm still waiting to hear back from Baca because he's also called out bikers to come out here.
Yeah, I don't see Baca coming out.
Oh, I know.
I didn't feel a thing. There's too many of those groups that I know that he did put calls out to. But none of them is like it went straight to voicemail type thing.
Right, just like I've talked to a couple of local militias around here, my area in Northwest Ohio and Michigan. They want no part of it. They see it for what it is, and that right there tells me what I need to know.
Oh yeah, it's another honeypot waiting for a prime place to happen.
Then the other thing nobody in the beginning questioned was, which we were probably one of the first ones to really start pointing this out, the tampering with the evidence, removing it from the scene, contaminating it. You know, supposedly having this stuff. And actually, I did see the picture of the knife. Thanks for the share, B. Rich, and thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you for the share, B.
It's gotten to that point where we need to start questioning everything that's transpired to this point. We need to start looking at it. Because I've voiced this, I think it was on the stream we did on your channel.
Oh, hey, heads up. For somebody that was not coming down off the mountain, I'm seeing him in a vehicle live. And he just went live.
Go ahead and chat for a bit. I'll tune in on this.
Yeah. Kind of interesting. That, you know, when you get all these little itty bitty coincidental red flags that are popping left, right, and then you'll go a period of time and everything will be just bumbling through the desert sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, there's major fines and but there's things that they can't talk about. And that's been very prevalent in every video, that they've found things that they cannot talk about in almost every video that comment is made. And it's very upsetting when you see this and you know what is going on, and that it's just leading people continually down that rabbit hole of deception, shiny object. Look over here, people. Look over here. Look to the left. While I'm talking in the right, sort of mentality. That's what we've seen. 15 days now. 16 days. I've lost track of how many days this has actually been going on. Because I've been following it since pretty much day one, and it's been nonstop. And yeah, I got a few videos behind, but it's been constant, nonstop. Um, and there's been so many blatant, if he's not calling people out, then it's, we're going to do this and this and that. And all these other things, and that it's a 3-year plan and all these grandiose things. And I'm thinking, okay, you're planning on staying out there 3 years. You're counting on fresh boots on the ground for 3 consecutive years, 36 months. That is a long time, and you've yet to prove or bring a single person out that has that you've managed to rescue. Uh you've yet to prove, other than some small shoes and some women's clothes left in the desert for God knows how long. Um some straps. Um hey, hi 10. um there's just so many things that have uh transpired through all this that it really makes a person stop, think, and then really want to look. What'd you find out there, Drew?
Is normal.
Anything alarming or?
He's basically gonna go, do his normal, relocate camps, move them around, go
uh
farther out. So he says, then if anybody, pretty much, well, you know his rhetoric. I mean, he keeps repeating it. If you want to keep pushing me and pushing me, then then bad things will happen, basically.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call bullshit. What happened to I'm not coming down off this damn mountain till Sunday morning. Um, that this mountain is ours, and that's that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
but he's blaming it on that the person that did the video that really triggered him that we just found out about.
oh
He's
yeah.
blaming these people now for making him come down the mountain and giving that mountain back to coyotes. It's all these people's fault. And if you keep interfering, something bad's gonna happen.
Oh please.
I mean, it's the same old rhetoric. He does it all the time. It's just, I mean, it's gotten to the point where I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on it.
Yeah, so in other words, it's gonna be one of those that when we get near the about as long as what the other video was, uh exactly, Dags, exactly. That I'm gonna have to go back and snatch, grab, record, and archive.
It's hard to say now. I mean, he's a little bit calmer now, which I've pointed out earlier in this broadcast. He does it all the time. He'll go calm, then he'll pull at your heartstrings, then put in that rhetoric, some of the subliminal threats. It's gotten to be to the point where, and people, I mean, I was watching the chat as it was going by. People are just feeding into it. They're buying into it, and he's going to get somebody hurt. Like I said, the only people and once more, he's telling Brink, and we need you to come out here. We need more people, more bodies. Bring your family. He keeps saying that. Let me tell you something. And I said, this goes back to before I tuned into on this. I was getting ready to say, you know who does tactics like that? ISIS, the Taliban, bringing people in to be shields. So that way, when something happens, it looks bad because it's the innocent that gets hurt because some idiot got trigger happy. This is no place for your family.
And that this is definitely got so many eerie similarities to um so many of these fringe groups. I mean, you know, anymore I used to joke at uh the coffee shop at work. I used to joke, what's the flavor of the day? Was the running joke. And you get my meaning by that.
Mhm.
Without being straight out on that, but pick a group. Pick a somebody that a group that you want to torment or uh,
Right.
target for the day, and that'll be the flavor of the day. Last year, for a lot of last year, it was Antifa. Um, well, everybody got burnt out on Antifa, 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 Antifa. Nothing but a bunch of spoiled ass uh rich kids from uh very upper class
Stanford, Harvard, Yale.
very sheltered environments that have never had to um live from and eat ramen noodles instead of having a burger and fries for dinner kind of lifestyle, and eat it with plastic uh utensils rather than uh wannabe silverware type stuff. Um, you know, these people that have never truly experienced life, and yet they want to go around bashing people's skull in with bike locks and socks. Um, I mean, give me a break. Um,
You actually reminded me of something else I want to throw out there.
have at it.
You've heard the claims just like I have since we've both been watching this dude. So, he's making claims that he's got anons, Q. Let me tell you something. And I know I've got some people that are anons that follow me in various spots. Do your due diligence and do the investigation on this guy. Look into him. Look into the so-called organization that's not an organization. He's throwing your name out there. Maybe it's time you guys do what you do best with him. Because, like I said, I don't have to. I've done my research on the person once I figured out his name. That's the other part that most people don't. What is his name? Is it Louis Arthur? Is it Michael Louis Arthur Myers? Is it Louis Arthur Myers?
Um, Michael was a he was trying to create a hard alias, is what he was trying to do. Um,
I mean, for those that don't know, his YouTube channel was M. Louis Arthur M.
yep.
Which is funny. Had no videos up until it's back to what it was. The account's been on there since 2015. Wonder what else has been deleted off that channel or
Uh,
set private.
a lot.
Considering that we now know that he was at Bundy Ranch.
I that's a backroom conversation.
Right.
But it's Lewis Arthur is his uh and the Meyer got chucked in there again trying to create a true hard alias. Um so it's he was just in court on Monday
Yes, he was.
under the name of Lewis uh Michael uh Arthur, I believe, was the official court document.
And let's point out the other thing, since they always talk about the Pulaski family. See Pulaski anywhere in his name? Anybody question that?
Actually, I did at first, until I actually did go down that rabbit hole.
Was it a rabbit hole?
Um,
I mean,
it
I know there was, who they talk about. That's actually that part. Who they're talking about is legit, or is it?
and was a real person.
So that's the part where I, pointed out he's pulling in heartstrings to where sometimes he's forcing you down rabbit holes that, is he related? I don't know. I can't say if he is or isn't,
No,
but I
no,
highly doubt it.
there's no relation. It was one of their people that came through the camp. That
That
were
committed suicide.
yes. Most of their camps, as we're finding out and figuring out, they're all being named after people who have committed suicide
And all vets.
and all everybody that the three names that they've used, with the exception of uh Camp Delta, which is they're in their base. Hey Caesar, how you doing? Um, it is their new uh forward operation base in the making. Is the only one that has not yet been labeled as a under the name of somebody yet, but give it time and it will happen, I'm sure. But uh with Bravo and Rodriguez, that is in the making. Um I have been able to go back and verify the legitimacy and the reality of those names and the people. I
Okay,
have
but
been to, but again, I spent um 2.5 days that I could have been playing with my babies or perhaps maybe doing what I was supposed to be doing, taking care of myself. Instead,
oh
I was
yeah,
in my office and on the phone doing things and doing investigative journalism that only a few people could actually do and had uh, the ways and the means to be able to do it, um, to be able to verify and validate certain allegations um, that were made. And, I does that make his claim any more righteous or valid? No, not really, because he's uh there's been so many detractors from it
hmm
that um unless they come out of that desert with literally a school bus load of immigrant children and women. That would be the only way I could see him coming out of this case and coming out of this situation, and then having a team of doctors be able to do a cursory examination on every single one of them and be able to prove that every single one of them have been trafficked within the last 21 days, 21 to 30 days, that they have in fact been trafficked. And instead of hearsay, that they can categorically prove beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Right, and it goes back to him supposedly having all this evidence that he's not letting anybody show. He won't even let the cops come out there and get it.
Right. And then there's that.
And no federal agency is allowed to come out here and see this. And listen, all you gotta do is listen to his videos. He'll repeat it time and time again, especially the beginning of the videos. It's pretty much, well, screw you guys. We got it. We'll show it when we're ready.
It's and there's chain of command issues here with that. Evidentiary chain of command issues. And because they are operating on some federal lands, that has to go to BLM or Border Patrol, one of the federal agencies, or most definitely county, Pima County Sheriff's Department, for sure. But the only way he is going to get out of this is if he comes out of there with at least a dozen or more women and children each that we can prove that have been trafficked, and have been trafficked for a while, that we can prove medically and forensically. That would
But
be
we also know what'll happen when he does stumble across that. Then you've messed with the coyotes, and which means you've messed with certain crime syndicates and cartels, and they're not gonna be happy.
Oh, then if he does happen by chance to stumble across people, live.
Oh, there'll be a firefight.
Well, not just that, but then it'll be a media circus, and then it'll be all about Lewis Arthur, and that he rescued all these people. So come on, I know how this goes. I've dealt with these people, these kind of people before. I know how this ends. And this doesn't end with a pipe dream. Not like he's painting it.
See, that's the other thing people have missed. You know, he also talks about when they do find these people, that they're going to protect them. They're not going to go into custody. He says that in a couple of his videos.
All of his videos, he has pretty much said that. And then you have committed another felony, harboring and aiding and abetting known illegal aliens.
And that also falls down to anybody goes out there. You could be charged with the very same crime.
And you can throw another one on that for those that are assisting. Conspiracy to commit said crimes. So, in a nutshell, going out there is a invitation to a shit show reality situation that could end up costing you the rest of your natural born days behind bars, as we said in the last video. If you haven't kept if you didn't catch the last one, I would encourage you to go back and watch the last stream. It was only, I think it was maybe our shortest show we've ever done, Drew. Literally. We really got to do these at least once a week, seriously. Because we're getting it down to where we're at just a little over an hour. And we really need to, I think we can work with that.
Right. This whole scenario, I mean, it just needs people to realize every group, no matter what it is, no matter what religion, organization, we all have our bad apples in our groups. We all have a friend that's a bad apple. Does it make the whole thing bad? No. Does it make the cause, the idea of it, bad? No. But unfortunately, we have people that's going to use this to manipulate, to push a different agenda.
Yep.
For various reasons. Just cause discord. Pit people against each other. And those are the things that you can actually watch and see. It happens. I mean, there's been people that's left that camp. There's been people that's been kicked out of that camp in the past week.
3. 3 of them. 1 male, 2 females.
Just like in one of those videos, I will tell you, and actually I'll say her name. It's the video of Danny, the one that you see, the female that's got the tats, is always smiling. She actually gave a heartfelt story. And to me, if you're wanting to do something like this, you want somebody like her as the spokesman. Somebody that's been experienced things. Somebody that truly cares. Somebody that doesn't have another agenda. Because I'm not blaming these people out there. A lot of them, they're there because they believe in doing good. They believe in helping people, protecting people. Her story was touching. That's why, I'm just telling you, and I said it from the beginning, they've got the wrong person representing them. He's bringing in the wrong crowd. His agenda doesn't match what he tries to portray. If you listen to his rhetoric, not the things that pull on your heartstrings, you'll quickly see this guy is bad news. The cause is good. I've never denied that. But I've also stated, don't be taking your kids out there. Don't be taking your families out there. As he keeps telling you to do. That should have been a warning flag to everybody right off the rip. You're taking them and putting them in a potential situation where they're going to be in harm's way. As I pointed out in the video, they've said they've come across bags and stuff with dope. Where's the dope? I have a hard time believing it because there's been no repercussion. And you start messing with that dope, just like you start messing with that trafficking of kids, the mules, there will be repercussions. And that's why you don't want to be taking your family out there. That's why you don't want to be, you don't want to have him to have a situation that just explodes. He's pushing so many buttons that it's going to come down, and it's going to come down bad. And you don't want to be caught in the middle of this.
No, not in any not in any way. And I, as I iterated earlier, I'm very surprised that um Facebook has even allowed the blatant criminality to continue, other than to, like they did in Oregon, um like they did in Bundy, or at uh the Bundy Ranch, and in a couple other places, that they allowed these social feeds to continue for a period of time, so that they could gain intel and have a almost like an extra set of eyes on the inside, without actually physically having eyes on the inside, or putting a bird in the air.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, you
I,
bring up a very good point. Why did he come down from that mountain? Because he gave his position away. He had a beacon that can be seen from miles away, an American flag with a light shining on it, and then he made the mistake of saying he was near something.
yep,
That's why he came down from that mountain.
you got it. You hit the
Because
nail on the head.
if you listen to this guy talk and you listen to some of those videos where he's out in the desert, he talks about how he's avoiding the government, avoiding certain patrols. They don't know where we're at. All you gotta do is listen. That alone should make you question everything that's coming out of this guy's mouth and everything he's doing. You know, I'd like to see more people start honestly take a neutral stance on this. Start investigating it. Start watching the videos, and it's hours, and I mean hours of video.
Oh God, don't, I don't know.
Last 3 weeks, that's all I've done. Hours and hours of video. Hours and
You and
hours
me
of
both.
researching things. Finding out, is this group legit? Which you don't really have to do that research because he'll tell on himself.
The only one that he made it very hard was the home outreach.
Right. I've heard him mention that
Um,
a few times.
but where he's failed to mention is that Bravo base has been in Yuma, Scottsdale, um, Phoenix, and couple other cities, before it found its landing point where it currently is at now, and that being in on the edge of Tucson.
Right.
And the only reason why they got that property is because it was given to them.
And before we wrap this up, one final note on something. Since he wants to tell everybody, ignore the keyboard warriors, what do you have to fear? What are you scared of that we're going to come across? I don't need to go out there because everything that I've seen, everything that I've researched tells me not to go out there, that this is bad news. All you have to do is do your proper research. So What's he got to fear from the keyboard warrior, as they want to put it now? Which that's not even his term. That's that YouTuber that's embedded with him right now. That's what his favorite word is. The fact is, before you do anything, you should investigate. Do your research. Do your fact checking. Come up with what you see. And I've said this time and time again. A good investigative reporter is the one that actually sits behind the desk and goes through the paperwork before they go out in the field. So they know what they're potentially getting themselves into.
And
Don't go blindly and listen to the guy that's trying to be and claim I'm a good. Well, he hasn't claimed that. This is what I'm saying. This is what my view. Claiming to be the good shepherd, because that's how he's portraying himself. Come out here, follow me. No, do your research before. Take a neutral stance. Listen to what he has to say in his videos, neutral, without me having your heartstrings pulled. Listen to the rhetoric. Then decide. I won't fault you if you decide if you still believe in what's going on. That's your choice. And you see something that maybe I didn't. But from the hours and hours of videos that I've watched, the way he talks, the way he uses verbiage, I would flat out tell you, don't go. Don't take the women and your children there. Don't get caught up when he tells all you guys when he does his live stream, you need to go to this person page, get their information. You need to go contact their family members, tell them what a POS that this person is, harass them. And don't worry, Mr. Arthur. I have the videos that you deleted, except for the last one. But the one with all the threats, it is on my computer now.
and I also have every single video that you've ever put out since this began. I also have all of them. Uh, yeah, Mr. Arthur. Um, and if you think you have your real cat anons, um, and your and your QAnons, um, come bring it on. That's all I can say. Um, take a trip on up my way. Um, that's all I can say. It's because where I come from, we do our business in the streets. Um, the real cats, the real anons. First of all, the real anons are not going to hook up with a loose lip, firecracker
Nope.
mouth, like you, Mr. Arthur. They're going to be smart. They're going to investigate you. And if they're really smart, anything that they may find that the government hasn't already drudged up or found, they've turned it over already. Um, welcome back, Caesar. Um, you know, the real cat anons are going to keep their hats nice and squeaky clean and try to make play both sides to meet the center and help everybody for the common good
Good. Mm-hmm.
of the world, not one person or one tiny little microcosm in the desert. Real simple, real clean, because I know some real cat anons, and they don't need weapons. And in fact, a lot of them tend to be completely non-violent and try to go and do things diplomatically at all costs. Um, so to say that you have anons in your camp, you might have some good researchers, but they're probably not real anons.
No, and if
They,
they were real nons, they wouldn't
they
be in his camp because he just offended every single one of them by calling them keyboard warriors.
yup, and they would probably dox them in a minute.
Yep. Careful in the terms of words you use. Because some people don't take kindly when you bring their names up, then you turn around and insult them.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a right, like I said, yeah, not going there, but I'm sure I'll hear about it later.
Oh, I know I will. From a few of my friends behind the mask. But you know, at the end of the day, don't take our word for it. Don't take my word for it. You know, I'm an investigative journalist who's spent the better side of the last 3 weeks spending 18 hours a day in my office instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing, um, researching a guy running around playing Rambo in the desert on a mission that uh, everybody that lives in that area should be doing to begin with.
Right.
If they got a heart and they got a soul, um, they should be out there in them deserts doing that work anyway and not having to um, put a page up and having all these uh, huge, elaborate supply requests for this, that, and the other thing because they're not going to go into the desert unless they have all of these said things that they need, like amateur radio stations, police scanners, dog booties, dog food, just, I mean, pick something.
Let's point out the other the fact that I pointed out in the other video. Now that you're on that subject, they wouldn't be broadcasting it for everybody to see.
And they just be doing it. And if they found somebody or a few, then they would broadcast it.
Actually, they wouldn't. Some of the groups I know wouldn't even broadcast it. Take it
No,
to
majority of
whoever their whatever agency that is the proper agency to deal with that, because they wouldn't want the attention. They wouldn't want their faces on camera because of the blowback that'll come from it. They don't want to jeopardize their families,
right, exactly. And
which is what
knowing
everybody that goes to this camp is doing. You're jeopardizing your families.
uh,
If
not
they
just
ever,
your family, but your kids' family and everybody else for generations down the road, um, you know, there's backlash. Um, and
you're going robotic.
there's going to be a body bag for uh, for somebody before this is all said and done. Um, I hope I'm wrong. I want somebody out there to prove me wrong on this one. I really do. Um, but that's the only way that I see that this is coming out is that there's going to be a few people that's going to be coming out with some toe ornamentation in a black plastic bag.
I mean,
That
yeah,
that's the bare facts.
I mean, if you guys, like I said, you guys do your own research. You listen to what he has to say, the rhetoric that he's pushing. That's what he's pushing for. He wants something to happen, and that's not what nobody wants. Because if that happens, and it's going to get so blown out of proportion, then if you truly care about the homeless vets and the people that are being trafficking, guess what? People aren't going to be able to go out there and do the right thing because of one man that has an anti-government agenda just screwed it up for everybody.
Oh, and let me point out one other glaring, blaring thing that I said in our broadcast last week. Let us not forget that any crime that is committed for any crime committed automatically gets bumped up to a felony and is automatically taken into federal court, not district court. And my camera kicked out for some reason.
You were going robotic too.
Oh, that's weird. There we go. I think I'm back on cam. That's strange. I never have problems.
I've been having, like I said, the last 3 videos I did, well, ever since I started talking about the school system, yeah, my hangouts have been a little bit screwy.
And it's just, it's sad how that everything that happens out there automatically becomes a federal case. And because you're within that 100-mile border or 100-mile distance of the border, everything automatically becomes a federal case. And they don't play by the same rules that they do with county and state cases.
Oh yeah, don't go screaming, go in that the federal courtroom screaming constitutional law.
No.
Does not apply. For those that don't know that live within 100 miles of the border, go research it.
Yeah. And make sure you have a real good attorney. But I mean, there's just so much that could be said about this. But the problem is that so many people, including international travelers, have not heeded this warning either. And
No.
unfortunately, they can be brought back here to stand trial because all their names have been recorded.
That's the other part that's bothering me. I mean, that's why it reminds me of the same crap we've seen play out with Bundy Ranch. The recording of people's faces, pointing people out. You need to sit back and really question things. And yeah, truthfully, you guys, you need to put some research into this because this guy's going to get somebody hurt. I've spent the last 3 weeks, hours, going through the video, watching other videos that somebody that's now embedded with them, decided to show in chronological orders with videos that was actually missing from the YouTube feeds or the Facebook feeds. But he had them all, playing them out in all chronological order. As soon as the live stream's over, they're not up no more.
Yep.
And he was running them, like I said, from beginning to the most recent update. So you're talking sometimes his stream was going over 8 hours. which means he wasn't using Hangouts because Hangouts you can only go 8 hours. So, you know, but knowing that guy, hey, I wouldn't want to be that YouTuber
No.
because he has all that evidence in his files. So, and guess what? Constitution does not apply while you're out there in that 100-mile radius of that border. So yes, they'll have full access to your computer and files.
And your phone and your email and your FTP that you might be sending those back to.
The things that people don't think about, things that people don't question, the things that we allow people to, and that's sad. I mean, real sad because I'm all for the vets, I'm all for the homeless, and I'm all for, putting an end to all this trafficking that's going on down there. But yet somebody wants to come around and use that for their own agenda. And that should make everybody mad.
Yeah, it does. But
You know,
there's a you get to a point, uh are you simple, slow, or stuck on stupid, or are you all the above? I don't think any of these apply to this man, because I believe that he's actually extraordinarily intelligent. He's just using his intelligence in a extremely sour way. The number of people that all of these donors from around the world, they're all complicit in this situation. They're all they all can be legally held responsible for this. I cannot stress this enough. Spend the 20, 30, 40 bucks, 50 bucks. Um pull his criminal background. Pull his full background. Save yourself a whole lot of trouble before you drive several hundred miles or fly across the country. Save yourself a lot of trouble later. Do your due diligence. Don't listen to me. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Drew's word for it. Don't take all the other journalists that have stepped out and called his bluff and said, "Hey, this cat's got problems." Um, don't take all of our words for it. Go back, get on your computer. It's not going to take you long. Watch 3, 4, 5 videos. Pull his criminal background. And you'll find out just exactly who he is. Now, that's not to say that people cannot break that chain and possibly change some, but the MO that he's just changed his MO from a violent, beating, aggressive, domestic violence, domestic battery, assault with intent, type mentality to something much more sinister and violent, using the future of our nation and the future of nations to the south, nations from far away, using their future as an asset. Sorry, but that that shit just ain't cool with me. It's not cool with my heart. It's not cool with my mind, and it's certainly not cool with my spirit. So, you know, I've said about all I can say about this guy. You know, do your due diligence, do your research. Um, it's not going to take you long to figure out the situation. Um, and let's pray for a peaceful. Uh, everybody comes out of the desert safely, willingly, and this goes smoothly, and nobody gets hurt. That's the ending I want to see. That's what I want. And I don't think I'm alone in that.
No, I think that's what all of us want. And we also want, we don't want this to be because of the bad apple here. We don't want this to be ruined. And we don't want people to, oh, that's all fake news because he screwed it up. And we want people to understand that. And if I stated this in every video I've done talking about this, there's traffic in corridors that's running through every one of our states. There's only 3 ways to smuggle people into this country, to smuggle drugs into this country. The border. Well, 4, because we have 2 borders. The border, shipping by boat, which is sketchy at best because they get caught a lot, and by plane, which is even more sketchy because it usually gets popped unless they got people, as we've seen accounts with TSA agents allowing stuff just to slide by. There's plenty of accounts on that for anybody who wants to do investigations down that rabbit hole. But the fact is, the majority of that stuff is coming from our borders.
And
We do
particularly the
have a
South.
homeless vet, and that's the part. This is the part that I guess got me so mad right now about this guy. I come from a family of vets. You're a vet. Most of my friends are vets. You're playing on people's emotions, pulling their heartstrings. 22 vets commit suicide a day. Yes, I know the statistics. How many countless other vets are homeless? And you're using this to spew your rhetoric. This is what it is. You're so pissed off for the mistakes you made. You want to blame it all on the government. And anybody's watched my channel, oh, I talk about the corruption in our government. I don't hold back on that. But I don't blame the government for every bad thing. For every bad choice I may have made. The government had nothing to do with those choices. I made those choices when I do something bad. Just like Lewis here, he made some bad choices. But instead of dealing with those choices, he's pushing his hate, his pain, and blaming it on the government. He's using everybody, manipulating them, playing on these righteous causes. And I'm going to call it for what it is. He's scamming people. That's really, right now, that's all I got to say on this matter.
I've got one final stat for you. That a lot of people don't. They don't know. I don't know if it's they don't know, they don't show, or they just plain don't give a flying flip and damn. But every day, 125,000 veterans, people that have fought for our freedom go home, they lose their home every day. These are people, men and women, that when they signed their name on that dotted line, it was a pact that the government would take care of them after they were done taking care of what the government told them to do, no matter what. Those housing numbers in other countries, it's even scarier. In Russia, the homeless veteran population is even higher than it is here in America. And those young men don't get a choice. As soon as they're of age, it's almost as fast as the ink dries on a high school diploma. There's no proms, there's no parties, there's no we're gonna go on holiday somewhere. Your ass is off to the military for an undetermined amount of time. Europe, the men spend 4 years, give a minimum of 4 years, depending upon which branch you go to. And you're given a choice, depending upon the climate of the world. You're given a choice as to what branch you go into. And that's pretty much throughout the most of the EU. The European countries, their homeless vet population is even scarier. Yet nothing is done. But an even starker contrast, their human trafficking problem is just as bad or worse than it is here in the United States. This isn't just a problem, a U.S. problem, or a North American problem. This is a world problem. And it's kind of convenient talking about this very topic. And what do I get? But I get an email for solicitation for mail order brides from not one but 5 different countries, almost all simultaneously. What is the chances of that? What is the chances of that happening?
Well, I mean, that's just another rabbit hole I don't even want to venture down right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it just goes to show you that I'm right over the damn target here, and you know things. This is a very real problem globally, but only a very few are willing to meet this problem head on and call it for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Um, with my other hope is that for Mr. Arthur, if that really is, and I have yet to actually find his birth certificate. I've yet to come across that, by the way. Oddly enough, but problem is that there, when you look at this whole situation, you've got the homeless vets, you got all these people out there looking for uh trafficked people. God forbid should a MS-13 or one of the other cartels gets a hold of him, you won't find a body. That's not a threat. That's not a promise. That is a guarantee.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. That's what people aren't getting. You got a man that's telling you, bring your family, bring your kids. Oh, they're only here for during the day. It doesn't matter what time. When you finally stumble across something, interrupt something by them, they don't discriminate. They're going to go after everybody that was involved just to send a message.
Look at what happened to Seth Rich. Perfect case in point.
You know, I hate to be that guy that's talking and bringing this and telling you guys these things. Somebody has to.
Sometimes, you just need a couple of people like us that shoot straight from the hip. We call it the way it is. And sometimes you need a couple reality shakers to grab you by the bootstraps and aren't afraid to call it the way it is. This is what, second time this week we've been on, or was it, I think Monday night, I think we were on, wasn't it?
I can't remember. I've done several videos this week.
I know we've been on so much.
Then like I said, all the research.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's gotten to the point where somebody's got to start talking about it. I had my reasons to stop talking about it and let things unfold.
Right.
But it's like I said, it's got past that point of turn where now, with all the threats he made, no more. This guy's got to be stopped. He needs to be put in jail, and
Or
not
a
a
rubber
normal
room,
jail, a federal jail,
or a rubber room, whichever comes first.
before he seriously gets somebody's hurt. Then guess what, guys? If he gets somebody hurt, everybody that's involved, everybody that's out there, everybody that's donated. Remember, 100 miles from the border, he's going to take you all down with him.
Well, let me reiterate. Look at how many people got taken down and are currently in jail and or prison from the Oregon situation at the Malheur Reserve. There's 49 people still doing time, and one man will never come home to his children and his wife because he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was standing up for a family that was being bullied over what? Uranium. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole in and of itself. And we're not going to go there on this show.
Once more, we're dealing with the same situation with ranchers.
Yes, we were.
Because now he's talking about there's 7 or 8 that, I mean, guys, you got to do your own research. You got to listen to what this guy has to say, what he talks. Don't let him pull your heartstrings. Listen to the rhetoric.
Now, I think that That's a good segue for us. Anyhow, for me, because I got to bounce. I got something that's just driving me nuts here. Including a cat that is going after my toes. Um, but let's we'll try to get together tomorrow sometime midday and potentially maybe go live tomorrow maybe if need be. Otherwise definitely it seems like nobody ever goes live on Wednesdays.
Actually, I follow a few people that do. I've been bumping heads with everybody this week. It's gotten to the point I follow so many people. It's like, when do I get my stuff in? Now, I
Well,
try to be
yeah,
polite.
we got to find a night that we're not bumping heads with everybody.
I
And
try not to do Sat Fridays.
yep, same here.
Like I said, as soon as this one gets over, I'm going. You guys can find. And actually, here's another. I want to give a shout out to Pirate Radio. These guys, I just been tuning in for the past couple of weeks. They have some amazing conversations. So, I mean, just type in Pirate Radio; they'll come right up. Check them out.
The other shout out we got Miss Dagger Spells. She's one of my longest subscribers that I've actually had. She's hanging out and chilling out in the chat. She's been one of my subscribers now for about 3.5 years. And a extra special shout out to Be Rich.
Oh yeah, speaking of what, Be
He
Rich had posted a video. That's
um
psyop
yeah,
video. I meant
yeah,
to link it.
uh
Everybody needs to go check that video out. What he is speaking is the truth. Listen to what he had to say. I know.
um I will drop the link in the chat. And please go check it out. It is worth it. Um and otherwise we're gonna try and get back maybe tomorrow. Definitely not Sunday. I'm tied up on Sunday unless I'm not home. Uh or something goes incredibly sideways and I'm not able to be home. I see I got a fur ball in the back of my chair again. But we definitely got to find a night or some period during the week that we can hook up and at least once a week uh and cover some of these things that nobody else is wanting to cover or touch um on a weekly basis, because it seems like too many things are getting through the cracks that nobody else is wanting to touch or tackle, and we just seem to find that niche together and knock it out of the park.
Oh, I've got several topics I want to talk about, but it's just this.
We got to get through this one first.
You know, I've slid in a few this week. That's just as important. But
Well,
I mean, I've been dealing with this for the last 3 weeks, and it's not been good on me.
yeah, it kind of raises hell with one's sleep schedule.
No, it's not been good on me when I have an ex sending a message saying, chill.
Yeah, that generally isn't good. or you go rolling by your pillow and you look at it and you almost like scratch your head and think, did my pillow just wink at me? Um, kind of thing. Or when was the last time I actually got to use the pillow kind of mentality? And it's just very real. A lot of people think that we just spend a couple 2-3 hours maybe before putting together a broadcast, when in reality this has been a 21-day, pretty much around the clock vigil. If Drew's not on it, I am. And about the time that Drew is knocking off and crawling in the sack at night, I'm getting up and I'm on it until sometimes 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then I'm back up again at 4, 5, and still going at it. So, do your research, do your due diligence, listen to your heart, and go from there. But till next time, folks, I need to bounce out of here. I think we pretty much covered about all that we can. If there's any other updates, one of us will be back on, or I will pop in tomorrow morning, perhaps, and do a quick update over on my channel, which is Free Spirit Press News. Very easy. Just click on my name, and it'll take you right to my channel. I might pop in, do a short 5-10 minute overnight update of what went on, and go from there, and see if there's anything pressing. And if that's the case, the next show, probably do it over on mine, Drew.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right.
As far as tomorrow goes, I don't know my schedule. I should be free, but I did promise somebody, Christina Taft, that she could come on my show to introduce her website and platform that she's
Oh,
building. That's going to be a
oh,
free speech platform. I want to
oh,
make sure I
yes,
get that in.
yes. You need
So
to
like I
talk
said, I've
about.
had my hand in a bunch of cookie jars here past few weeks, and I've probably stretched myself a little too far this week.
Yeah, you need to plug that real quick.
I mean, like I said, it's still under development. They're still working up. But they do need people to start joining, and I've talked with her quite a little bit just via direct messages, and she's about everything that we want when it comes to a platform. A place where we don't have to worry about censorship, where we can talk, share ideas, views, opinions without ever, you know, being fearful that somebody's going to suspend us or kick us off. I am greatly impressed with the website as it's come about thus far. I've got to see the development team kind of take my suggestions because I did a feedback and pointed out some of the things that were being a little buggy that needed fixed, and they were right on top of it. She does take people's feedback. She wants your feedback. What do you want to see on here? And there's a bunch of stuff that she's going to be adding as the funding comes in and stuff. Because she's doing this all on her own. And I like what I'm seeing thus far. I mean, I can't just say it's awesome. Uh,
That's where the next you can also find it under Free Spirit Press News, which is for some reason, because I don't have enough subscribers yet, they won't allow me to change the name,
uh,
which kind of sucks. But if you punch in the the Free Spirit Press News in your search bar, just as my name shows, it will come up and take you right to that URL. If you put it all together in one word, then it takes you to the backup page.
Welcome, Dequa. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I can
Dela
butcher.
Cruz.
It's actually,
Dela
I
Cruz.
think it's
Er, Delacroix, that's definitely French.
Irish.
Oh,
Delcroix. Okay. See, I did screw it up last night.
I it's been a very long day, and I'm about 3 ways sideways at the moment, seeing 3 ways sideways through bifocals instead of trifocals. Figure that one out. If you come up with the right answer on that one, inbox me the right answer on that one, because I'd like to know how that's possible. Okay. Irish. I've been to Ireland a few times. Don't have many memories of it. I'm the details are a little fuzzy.
You spent too much time in the pubs, didn't you?
As I said, the details are a little fuzzy at the moment. I don't know. Maybe they put too much head on the frosty mugs, or was it the Irish coffee?
I think they both have liquor in them. Just saying.
Maybe there was a little more liquor than there was coffee. I was young once. What can I say? You know, hey, you've been on the tubes for a long time. I'm still drinking. It is 9 o'clock my time. And I'm still drinking Jet Black Rocket Fuel.
Let me see. During this stream, I've drank a cup of coffee, 2 things of pop, half a bottle of water.
Yeah, but were your cups that big?
No. I quit doing that a long time ago.
Yeah, that cup's been with me for a very, very long time.
I still got a three cup habit a day, bad habit.
I have a 3 cup a day habit too. Just that my cups are 34 ounces. But in all seriousness, I may pop online tomorrow morning for a quick update if something pops off tonight. I might go live right away in the morning, maybe. Otherwise, potentially maybe later in the weekend, or maybe Monday. Potentially, we'll have to kind of see, kind of try and get a day nailed down in the week that, unless something obviously big happens, we will be keeping on top of this as often as is needed. Hey, now that's I can't quite get to the homebrew at the moment. And I can't get to my spot in the woods. We had 14 and a half inches of rain in just under 60 hours. So even trying to get to my little spot in the woods, I don't know if you need a boat or a serious 4-wheel drive. with tracks instead of tires. Either way, it's going to be rough sledding.
Delcro, we're getting ready to wrap up, but I definitely would love to do a stream with you and get some of your opinions and stuff. Maybe we can set it up for maybe Sunday. My information, my email information is in the description. So if you're like free Sunday, I definitely would have somebody different on, because it's always fun to have other people's views and opinions on things. That's what this is supposed to be about, you know.
Yeah.
For me anyway, like that's the way, I've always wanted this platform's open to whoever wants to come on. So yeah, I definitely would love to set something up with you.
And definitely be paying attention for that interview with on worldly or worldy. I haven't got on it yet. That's been on my bucket list of things to do, but because I've been up to my nose in work, I haven't had a chance to get there yet. But I will. So you can let her know that I will be getting there. But and
Cool.
until then, as always, remember, folks, take time out to love yourself, love your family, love your neighbors, love all your furry four-legged friends. And if you can't take time out to love yourself, you can't love anybody else. So spread the love. Till then, we'll catch you all later. Free spirit, I'm out.
Everyone, you guys have a safe weekend. Take a break from some things. Enjoy yourselves. It's a good time to tune out from some things.
Amen.
And just relax. Now I'm going to go do something I was tried to do a couple hours ago and eat what is probably right now a very soggy Nacho Bel Grande.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't ate yet.
I'm going
I
to
got caught up listening to the videos.
I'm going to work on trying to polish off a mean bowl of chili.
Good night, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody.